You have so much time, and right now is the best time.
That's actually a question I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, no, seriously.
My name is Jessica Kung, and I am a special correspondent for TaiwaneseAmerican.org. I have the pleasure of interviewing Miss Stephanie Chuang today. She is the morning anchor at CBS in the San Francisco Bay Area. Thank you for being here. I know we last talked to you about 3 or 4 years ago when you first graduated college. What have you been up to then?
The last almost 4 years I've been anchoring and reporting at the ABC and NBC affiliates down on the Central Coast. So that's Monterey, Santa Cruz, Salinas. Lucky to start off just south of my home area of the Bay Area. Since then, I was able to join CBS here in San Francisco. Kind of a dream job, so I'm really happy to be here.
So how did you get into journalism, just in general, and did anything especially inspire you?
There are a couple things there. One, I really do want to tell people stories. That is my main objective in getting into this business. And TV news has a very good way of showing the sound and the emotion. You can see people's emotions on their faces. You can hear if their voice is shaking. You can tell a little bit more. Also, the print industry, of course, has been really impacted a lot. So I decided to go to TV for journalism. But you know what? It's just about telling people stories.
Journalism is kind of a non-typical sort of Taiwanese or Asian American career. We're kind of ingrained to be those doctors and lawyers that our moms want us to be. Were your parents supportive of your career choice?
They were very supportive. I have wonderful family support with my parents and my sister. They never ever questioned what I wanted to do. They let me have that breathing room. My style has always been I wanted to handle things on my own. When I was growing up, studying, they never had to pressure me. They knew I would put the pressure on myself. So I was really lucky to have parents who understood that this is what I wanted to do, as atypical as it is, maybe in the Taiwanese American community. They let me have that space, and I would actually encourage other parents to do that with their kids, because I think the more pressure you put on students, on your children, the more time it might take them to actually figure out what it is they really want to do in life.
Were there any obstacles that you encountered as a woman or just Asian American in your career?
There was an on-air internship I did as part of a Northwestern program where I went to Topeka, Kansas for 3 months, and I recorded, interviewed, drove, carried the camera, the tripod. I did everything by myself, but it was Topeka, Kansas. Kind of a culture shock for me, and I definitely felt a little bit different, obviously, because the numbers aren't there in Kansas as far as Asian Americans go. I got the stares, I kind of got the weird looks, which was the first time in my life. Growing up here and then going to school outside of Chicago, I never experienced that. It was the first time I experienced that kind of, oh my gosh, I'm a little bit different, I am a minority. But I soon found that those people really do have that kind of Southern hospitality and are very kind. They just take a little bit of time to get used to seeing you. Exactly.
Yeah. What are your big aspirations in your career? Where do you see yourself in maybe 5 to 10 years?
That's a really good question, because the industry is changing so much that we don't know where it's going to be in 5 to 10 years. I have to be honest, someone at my age at this point, starting as a reporter in San Francisco 10 years ago was a lot more unheard of. But now the industry is changing so much that we are all kind of wondering where we're going to be in 5 to 10 years. The internet has made a huge difference, and we don't know what our industry will be like. But I hope that I will still be here, because this is home for me. People ask, do you want to do network, CNN? If I could get there, absolutely I would consider it, because it takes a lot to get to that level. But actually being home in the Bay Area, it's where my heart is, it's where all the people I love and I grew up with are. So I'm living kind of a dream right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, so you were born and raised in the Bay Area, right?
I was.
And so you moved out of California to attend Northwestern?
Yes, that was the first time.
Are you glad that you're back in the West Coast?
I am. Actually, it's good that you asked, because I would advise people who were born and raised in California. It's really hard to leave, I know, because it's so great here. Why would you want to leave? But you got to get out a little bit, experience something else. I don't mean just vacationing somewhere outside of California, but really go and try and live somewhere different. Mm-hmm. I actually grew my appreciation for being in California more when I left. I loved Chicago, I loved the area, but the weather, first of all, is there's no comparison.
There's one season here, so
yes, one season here, exactly. And the dry heat is also really important. But anyway, you really do learn how great it is and how blessed you are to grow up in a place like California.
So I'm currently a college junior right now, and I'm really just confused and lost about my career. I'm going through like a quarter-life crisis. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that, but is there any sort of advice you could give to kids like me?
Yeah, definitely. I would say try your hardest. I know it can be really difficult sometimes, but try your hardest to put everything else aside. As far as parental pressures, any sort of family pressures, or what you think you're supposed to be doing at that moment, right now. There is no such thing. Breathe a little bit. I would say try as much as you can to figure out, okay, should I do this? Should I do this? Give yourself some space to think about what it is that motivates you, because we dedicate so much of our lives to working. We're in the workplace more than we are at home, I would say. So if you choose something just to please somebody else and not go with what your gut and your heart tell you, I think you'll end up regretting it. And my parents were great enough to support me and give me that space and let me figure out, okay, what does Stephanie want to do with her life? And I hope that other parents and other families can learn from that and follow that, because I think you get the best outcome in that situation.
So what are some, maybe activities and clubs that you would advise college students like me to, engage in to help maybe figure out their lives?
Well, I think no matter what, if it does help you figure out what to do in life or not, it's great to get involved in student, campus, student life. I was involved in ITASA at Northwestern. I co-chaired the conference there back in 2005, I believe it was. And, it actually helped me in a lot of different ways. I got to meet so many people with the same interests, and we all are passionate about being Taiwanese American, raised here. With Taiwanese families and culture ingrained in us. And I actually was able to learn a lot about other people's perspectives within the Taiwanese world. I was raised with very heavy kind of, pro-Taiwan, heavy in one political kind of sense. And through directing the conference, I was able to learn many different perspectives, in Taiwanese culture and the Taiwanese politics. And I think I benefited a lot as a Taiwanese American by doing that.
Well, thank you so much for giving your great advice. Thank you for following TaiwaneseAmerican.org. You can follow Stephanie Chuang on her Twitter and on her website. Well, thank you for joining us. Thanks so much for Top 3 favorite Taiwanese foods.
Hanji, be, gabaso.